Welcome to this episode of Mrs. K's Korner. We finally cornered Assistant Superintendent Kelly Weldon, a former graduate and teacher and now administrator in OT.
And we are surely not the only school going. Schools are realizing this is the direction you have to take people. It's just not that traditional scene anymore. And although you say it's not Kelly Weldon, which true, that is not. But now I'm going to bridge over to, the role you've handed over to me in Spartans Live. That was you, unless I'm mistaken. That you approached me and we started talking about that last year at one point, although it's evolved from even before that, because you and I have had so many conversations over the year and just from things we've been doing together that really aren't part of the contractual nature of being a teacher. And we realized a need for something. So what's the role of, I hope I'm figuring it out because this is new to me, and I, again, walked into not only a new principal a year ago, but then this year walked into a whole new role, not in the classroom. Right. What is the role of Spartans Live for me?
So Spartans Live was an idea, was a concept that all of these great things are happening. They're happening around this building, but also around our district, and people don't know it. People don't know what the other side is doing. You might be doing something in A Hall that somebody down in E Hall has no idea.
Right, within the same building.
Within the
people
same
I've worked
building.
with for years,
exactly.
And I'm finally getting to sit with them.
And as principal, I had an idea that all these great things were happening, but I knew that the faculty didn't know it. And I knew that sometimes even the students or the parents didn't know it. And I had my PTA meetings and my Spartan parents meetings and my newsletters and my tweets. And still, I felt like we could do better at getting our message out there.
And for instance, I would never have been aware of what was happening over at OTIS. And now I have that connection with Mike Houston, who's doing an unbelievable job as their ed tech, and Jamie Doyle with all the elementary schools. That alone is helping me understand what happening beneath this is coming up. I can understand how that.
And that's right. So as principal, I knew what was happening around the building that the faculty didn't know. And now in my new role as assistant superintendent, I've been able to get out to all of the schools and see these incredible things happening that people don't know are happening. And so as I came to you last year, my idea really was we need a center hub where if I know someone at the elementary school is doing something great that I want to showcase, I can funnel that to Spartans Live, and right now that's you running Spartans Live, and I funnel that to you, and we start to build this presence, this online presence, which is, I believe, better in audio and video rather than print. Nothing against print. We've used print forever, but
I'll be the first to admit, if it's a tweet and it's all text, I probably don't read it. I am very visual by nature.
I'm trying to write.
You'll get my attention if I see something with your text. Now I want to read your text.
Right. So knowing the audience is important. Who are our audience? These are parents, these are students, these are other faculty members that are busy, that have busy lives and don't have time to read a newsletter or a letter that comes in the mail. So it was about changing the platform or the package of the message to be more engaging, more enticing, so people would pay attention, number one, but number two, to really showcase all of the different things that are happening in our district and to make people aware so that things don't happen haphazardly. We started with everybody share your ideas, do your ideas, take your risks. That's great. That's phase one. And we never want to lose phase one, but we have to build on phase one, which becomes, okay, well, if they can do this in elementary school, we should not be replicating that in intermediate school. We should be building on that. And if they can do this in the intermediate school, we should not be replicating it here at the high school. We should know that students have gain these skills at the intermediate level, and now they're ready to kick it up and take it to the next level, which is, I believe, is also part of Spartans Live, and just the communication amongst all of the schools, so that we are being responsible for building on the skills students learn each year and each level, again, with the end game, which is to make the most well-rounded, marketable students that leave us. Marketable in terms of their skill set, in terms of their service to others, in terms of their character, in terms of their ability to be, whether it be an athlete or a performer or an entrepreneur, whatever their interest is, we want to prepare them to be at the top of that
I got to give you credit because that bell rang for all the classes to change. You didn't break stride. You just kept going. That's impressive. Talk about being focused. People say I get in the zone. You were in the zone.
It's passion. It's a passion of mine. I'm sorry.
And we're
sorry.
only, well, you know what? I look back and you're probably one of the most passionate people and really represent what Big Red is about. And is Spartan Legacy, did you create that hashtag? I always associate with it. I see the hashtag Spartan Legacy and your picture comes up in my head.
I'm going to say this again. I was the principal
that?
when we created Spartan Legacy. We.
Okay.
We is the important word here. I'll tell you that this.
But you're the one that began really promoting.
I think I
that
pushed it, but it came
absolutely.
out of two teachers, Mr. and Mrs. Terleski. It really, I give it to them as their brainchild. They brought it to Mrs. Hagerman. This was at a point in time when Mrs. Terleski was doing an internship with Mrs. Hagerman. They brought it to me. We talked about it. I absolutely loved it. I loved the concept. We were constantly fighting the message out there from students and parents that they were unhappy with things at the school, and we were working very hard to fix it. But that concept, when it was said to me, it just lit a light bulb that, okay, we can all be unhappy about the school we have, but we all of us in any role, parent, student, teacher, community member, have a responsibility to come to the table with ideas and solutions. And that concept of leaving a legacy, coming into this school and finding it one way and leaving it 4 years later better than the way you found it, that is your legacy. And then legacies go on from there. We talk about our graduates and the things that they're doing, but we believe they learn those skills here, and so they continue their Spartan legacy. So it is not mine alone, but I do believe that I then just started putting it everywhere because I really
Mr.
did
and Mrs.
believe
T,
in
I'm
the
going to
concept.
take that back. Give credit where credit is due. It's on you guys.
And I have tried to give them
Which is
credit
great.
in other forms. A graduation speech one year, I don't want the credit for it alone, but I absolutely fell in love with it when I heard it, and I just embraced it and wanted to push it. Now, I'll be perfectly honest. If I wanted that, but no one else bought in, it would have died a quick death. That is not what happened. The faculty and the student body and the seniors at that time also embraced the concept, and it just became who we are. It became part of our fiber and our mantra, and like Big Red Country and home of the Spartans, Spartan Legacy. These are some of our most important tenets.
And we're really just scratching the surface of where Spartans Live is going in terms of that social media presence. It will take us a while, to say the least, to build that. But so for right now, you can find us at Twitter at OT Spartans Live. If you go to YouTube, we have a YouTube channel. We're just getting rolling. Matter of fact, this is only episode number 6, but we are gathering playlists of, for instance, Mr. Polano, all his great productions with his media team. So it will build and build over time. We are hooked up to Instagram and Periscope through Twitter, and I'm in the process of getting a separate Facebook page that is Spartans Live that will then go out to your alumni. And it just takes time to get that. So, this is very early, but we have this vision of really exploding out there with all these things to promote all things, not only here, but at the intermediate school and the elementary school.
And even though it is so new and we're just starting to build the content, or at least pulling it together, just last week, I have to give you credit for your idea that you could have student interns working with you to learn this, because it's not about one man.
Well, it's either that or you got to find me that 25th hour in a day, because I thought I worked hard as a teacher. I have never worked so hard in my life. It's exhausting, and I said to you, but it's also exhilarating, because the appreciation level of teachers as an ed tech it is really kind of a neat new step for me now that I'm 40 plus years into this career. So it's a whole new world.
And students learning how to be social media managers and web developers and PR. I mean, this is a role that
which
this
they
is
may
a
go
job.
on and do for a career.
Correct. So giving students experience, and then what makes it even better is once we're giving them the experience, but then the students start to give us ideas, and the show and the material and the content always improves when it's driven by student ideas. It really does. I mean, they are the pulse of what's happening in our schools.
I gotta laugh because now I thought she could get like an Irishman talking a lot, but we were gonna keep this to 10 minutes. I think we lost that one. And again, because you're so passionate, and I can't blame you, I wasn't about to stop you on that. So I appreciate you coming down, because I know it's hard for you and Dr. Stefanko to get out. I still have to rope him in. I'll get him over here too. One of these days. And I also have to say, not only you mentioned Mrs. Source, and Ms. Zubin. I gotta say the same thing about Mr. O'Neill, who is really my supervisor. They all have that vision. They let us run with things and experiment to see if there's something we can do. It'll work. It'll catch on like a Spartan's legacy kind of thing. So it's really kind of a neat environment. So I gotta thank you for coming in. Thanks very much.
Thank you for having
and
me.
I'll tell you what, get ready, Spartans. This is going to be one heck of a wild ride.